Yeah. Yeah. Nice one, eh?
Yeah.
Very nice one. One thing I remember is growing up, I didn't like the feeling of fear. I felt a lot of time when I had this feeling of fear in my life that I couldn't do what I needed to do. And it's something that I had to unlearn. Because you feel when there's fear inside of you that you can't make the right decisions.
Yeah.
It's a fight or flight thing. You know, you understand someone that fights or flight, they have exactly the same feeling, they just respond differently. That's right. And it's something that stops us from living our lives correctly. You know, that feeling of fear stopped me from ever going overseas. You know, as you can see, I'm not a young spring chick, I've never been out of this country. You know, and it's a bit difficult now with a big family. I just go do anything, you know. So it stopped me personally from making good decisions, because that feeling that I had inside of me, always had to try and get rid of it. And the way we tend to try and get rid of it is by using the substance of our choice. Okay? What's it called? There's a term for it, Dutch courage. That's courage. And I got to a place in my life in addiction where I didn't like doing the wrong anymore. I didn't like doing the wrong anymore. I didn't like it. But I liked it a hell of a lot when I was high and drunk. It was much easier. So if I knew that I'm going to make trouble or whatever tonight, I'll make sure I'll get out of it. I remember sometimes, now it's on camera, I remember sometimes being at the place I used to work and I'd have every drug in my system. And I mean every drug. I'd have Thai white in my system, I'd have cocaine in my system, I'd have cat in my system, I'd have meth in my system, I'd have LSD in my system, I'd have marijuana in my system, and I would have drank myself.
Yes.
I've done that more than once. So it's by God's grace that I can have some form of normality while standing in front of you. I know you guys have got to know me, and I've got mannerisms, but mannerisms are more quirks than anything else. So now you can see why. You know? I'm fortunate that I can actually that I can speak to you properly, and I can understand you, and I can speak to you. I'm fortunate. It's God's grace and grace alone. And it was a very scary thing to let go of what you know. That's what you know. Understand something? The reason we go back to our old environments when we finish here or any place, we go back to doing the same thing, but don't realize that we have to on purpose unlearn the learned behavior. While you're here, where's the disease? Where's it? But where is it now? Right now. Who of you are high and drunk right now? Anybody? No, nobody. Some of us have been here for a couple of months, some have been here for a couple of weeks, but where's that thing gone? But when we go back to our old environment, it's like almost an automatic response to our old environment. And I was speaking to one of my guys this morning, and I explained to him that you need to unlearn that thing. It's a defense thing. It's something that you've learned. It's learned behavior. From a young age already, it's learned behavior. So if you issue with fear, and you're afraid of fear, you've learned that behavior. You've learned that this feeling is bad. Because in that moment, you made a bad decision, and you remember that. So you might not remember it as you sit here. And that's what's so important for inventory, and so important to look back in your life so you can see, why do I do this? Because, like I said, I'll say it's automatic. It's like driving a vehicle. That's why you get people that go home and you hear on the second day they've thrown it out the window, because they don't realize they're doing the same thing again, expecting a different result. Same feeling again, same emotions again. When you go back to your old house, when you go back to your old environment, the same feelings will come back to you again. And the way you've learned to deal with those feelings is by using it. Fact. But you can't go there, oh, I'll never do it again. Tell you something now. When you go there, you must put up your dukes, man. Be ready to fight. But the problem is, a lot of times when we go back to our old environment, we fight the wrong people. Eh? You normally hear that argument with each other, the mom and the dad, or the daughter and the father. They had a fight with one another. And what's your automatic response after this fight? Yeah, to use. But if you're not willing to look at it, you're not going to change it. If you're not willing to accept it, you're not going to change it. Just because you're sitting here and you're feeling good about yourself, I'm never going to do it again. Remember, you've got to face those feelings properly. And that's why inventory, when you do inventory, make sure you face those feelings. You can see for yourself that despite the way you're feeling about what happened to you and what you've done and the regret and the shame, despite it, it doesn't mean you have to go that. It doesn't mean that. You must teach yourself that. And you teach yourself that by choosing responsibility over the way you feel. And it's an effort, guys. Yeah, I've had people say, I need to go back and look after my kids. I need to go do this. I need to go do that. That's not something you learned or found out when you got here. You didn't get here and go, oh, you know what, I need to work. Duh, of course you need to work. Come out, oh, I must be a good parent. Duh, of course you must be a good parent. So knowing that, and actually, because a lot of times when you know that, it's not actually a knowing, it's more the way you feel about it. You feel that you should be a good parent, of course. No? Yes, I miss him. Huh? I miss him so much, I want to be there. Sure, I must go work, man. I feel so bad. Look, I feel so bad for the way I've behaved and I need to go make right. How many of you have said that? I need to go make right. Everything's based on the way you feel about it. Nothing's based on responsible thinking. You think it's responsible thinking because it sounds responsible. But you're not using the responsible part of your brain. You're not using that part, you're using the middle part. The limbic system, that creates your emotions, your feelings. Using that to try and make responsible decisions. Fact, Christianese, science-anese, and all these things, whether you like it or not, you cannot use that part of your brain to be responsible. Fact. And that's why guys that have been, or girls and guys that have been using stuff from teenage years have such a hard time to change it. Because guess what? You've interfered in the development of the responsible part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex. You've interfered in that development. So guess what? If you've interfered in that development, then you have to do what you needed to do as a teenager, now at 40 or 30 or 25 or 24, and it irritates you so much. And that's where the pride comes in. It frustrates you. Don't treat me like a kid. Let me tell you something now. Your thinking system and way of thinking is like a kid. Hello? It is. You can't get upset. But if you accept those things, remember, acceptance is part of your recovery. Being accepted. Accept that they're not going to trust you. Accept that they're going to treat you like a kid. Understand, these are the things that you resisted when you were younger. You resisted these things. You resisted people talking into your life. You resisted mentorship. You resisted because your life was a bit of a mess. Maybe you had a bad father figure. Maybe he wasn't existed in your life. Maybe he wasn't there. So what happens is your thinking now, anybody that tries to correct you or tell you what to do, you resist it, not realizing it's an effect of the way you've seen someone that's supposed to be a big part of your life and be a responsible part of your life. So you project, and you need to change that. You need to change it. And it is scary, man. And there's a lot of fear, because imagine as a child, those of us that fathers have not been existing in our lives, or people that are supposed to have been non-existent in our lives, imagine all these feelings that develop, there's been no one there to help you process it. No one there to help you process it. No one there to speak. And even when there has been someone there to help you process, you've resisted it. You don't want it. Okay? You'd rather be in the street. I remember I walked the streets in my old hometown over, I know it so well. Groups of guys, I mean like 15, 16 of us, walking in the streets. Yeah, I'm 13, what am I doing? I should be at home, you know? And I was so rebellious, my mother had no control over me. I still remember the last day she gave me a hug. She had a special belt made to give me a hug. By my grandfather, my opa. A piece of belt, nicely done for me, my brother. And I remember done something wrong, and my mother came into the room and wanted to go for me. And I remember, clear as day, hit my hand back like this, grabbed the thing, pulled it out of her hand, and threw it down. That was it. She never gave me a hug again. Never again. So she had no control over me. And my dad was around, but he wasn't around. And I mean, he had his life there. Every second weekend is not good enough for a child. And at the same time, I resisted any form of love and try again. I resisted it. Because why aren't you here? Right? Why aren't you here? Why aren't you here? We might misunderstand something, that we're all human beings. We're all those human beings. Mothers human beings. They go through stuff that we go through. And they make decisions like we make decisions. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. But we can't hold them to it. We can't. I have a very good relationship with my dad. Very, very good. Okay? He gets worried when I don't phone him for a few days. You understand? There's one part, I mean, my dad couldn't hug me. It was awkward for him. Okay? Got a life process, gentlemen. It's a life process. Everything's a process. The recovery is a process. The growth as a Christian is a process. Going to school is a process. And what are the things that we resist when we're in addiction? Any form of process. We don't want to go through the process. We want to get out as quickly as possible. Drop out of school. Relationships. Anything goes wrong in the relationship. If we get married, we get divorced. Like this. Because we don't know our process. Marriage is a process. Guys, you're going to get married one day. Those of you who aren't married yet, when you get married, trust me, there's going to be a process in your marriage. The people, when you see them 30 or 40 years married, and you think, man, I'm telling you now, it wasn't clear sailing for them, but they committed and they allowed the process, and it forms a big bond, a huge bond. The Bible says 1 puts 1,000 to flight, 2 puts 10,000 to flight. Okay? Would you rather put 1,000 to flight or 10,000? But if you don't allow that process in the relationship on both sides, then you'll be divided, you'll fall. Yes, I can remember. You didn't when we were small, we always wanted to be old enough to drive. And, now when you're older than children, they're going to get back there. You know, we get upset because we're on the front. No. Remember that? I was asked to leave school at quite a young age. And I was too young to go to college. So like I said, that's how young I was. So I had to go to a private school. Remember that? I enjoyed the private school, but I learned a lot of bad stuff in the private school, and I met some intense people in the private school. Because my father sent me to quite a fancy private school. It was called College in Braamfontein. I used to catch a train. Remember, 14 years old, 15 years old, catching a train into Central Joburg, catching a bus going to Braamfontein. I remember that for a year. Then I was finally old enough to go to college. I ended up in the place where I've learned most of my skills, Germiston College. I think they'll sue me. Phone him. I said, you have a Ralph working there? He's dissing us on TV. Anyway, the criminal is afraid. No, it wasn't there. It was a fantastic school. But I was attracted. I found like magnets. I found out about housebreaking. What the hell? How do you attract it? He tried to get me involved in it, but guess what? Where the fear thing came in well was at that age. I was like, no, thank you. But I attracted it. I attracted the dealers. That's what you attract, because birds of a feather flock together. Guess what it is? It's rejection inside you, attracting rejection. It's rebellion attracting rebellion. It's attracting values. And the only way you overcome that, just because you're sitting here, I'm telling you now, you will still attract something similar when you leave. Because you've got to change the process when you leave. You have to. You can be a year, you will still attract it when you leave. Because you must change your process, you must change where you go, you must change where you hang out, you must change who you talk to, you've got to let go of things. And sometimes letting go of certain friends is difficult, man. Because there's some friends you've got to let go of that aren't really bad for you. But your brain relates to that. For example, I've got very good friends that took care of me, but they're in the same industry I was in a couple of years ago. Well, quite a few years ago, I'm older now. And they're good to me. But my brain relates to how I met. So the more I'm there, the more I automatically, even though they say, Ralph, don't do it. I mean, the one guy still threatened to shoot the other guy if he was anywhere near me, even if he didn't give me the stuff. Even if he didn't give it to me, he was going to shoot him. So if he was close to me, and I abused, and even if it wasn't him that gave it to me, he's going to sort him out. It's a good friend, isn't it? But my brain didn't relate to it like that. They hated me using this stuff, but my brain didn't relate because of the system or the environment or the lifestyle I was living when I was with my good friends. And it's difficult to let go there because you want to be good. See, sometimes even the good things or things you perceive that are good for you are not good for you. They're not. And some of us have a relationship with someone that they don't use anything, they don't do anything wrong, they're just always there for you and they're lifting you up. But meanwhile, your brain relates to that relationship because the foundation of your relationship is based on God. You have to break down that foundation of that relationship and rebuild that foundation of relationship so you can change what you think about the relationship. The criminal is afraid that fear will keep him from doing things. Fear is his enemy and he's angry about it. Anger. It's only something now. One of the things that keep us in addiction is anger, resentment. We don't see it. It's resentment and anger. And sometimes he uses drugs and alcohol to eliminate that fear. When he sees fear in others, he points it out, scorns it, and he's ready to pounce. It's funny that, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. We don't realize that. It's the same when you judge yourself according to actions and others according to their intentions. We like the other way around. We like to judge us according to our intentions and our actions. What's my intention? Okay, whether you like it or not, this is what actually happened. This is the fruit of your intention. So whether it wasn't your intention or not, this is what it caused. When people overtake on the road and they cause harm, it's not ever their intention. If you pull them over and say, man, why are you driving like a ding-dong? It wasn't my intention. Okay, what if the accident happens? Was it also not your intention? No, it wasn't their intention. But their action says that they're reckless. They don't care about people around them. So If they look inward and go, wait a minute, it wasn't my intention, but the way I behaved around these people on the road tells me I don't care about them first and foremost. It tells me that I'm reckless. Maybe you can do that. That's what I'm talking about when I say look at yourself when you're here. So okay, according to your intention and the way you feel about all the things, look at what your actions actually are. So you look at what your actions are, you can go backwards, back inside yourself, and you can see, okay, this is where the issue comes from. Even now when I sit and I counsel people, etc., and I speak and I go somewhere, I go back inside myself and I see, oh wow, that's where government came from with me. I picked something up from the other day, I think it was Friday, I realized something, what caused something in my life. I realized it from back then, but it's something you see as nonchalant. It's something like when you say you must bring up something that he teased you at school, or there was a fight at school. Those things affect you. You're developing at that time of your life. Rapidly. Influences. If you look at a lot of times, developmental phases of your being inferior or being independent, all the developmental phases are through the young ages. For example, a lot of us are insecure in our ability to do things. So what happens? We cut it off. We don't allow the process. So you can go on deeper. That should have been developed when you're in primary school. Inferiority and being being industrious. Primary school, from 5 to 12, 6 to 12. That's when you're supposed to develop that. So what happens in your school? Two responses. Remember the one father was an alcoholic, one became very successful, and one became alcoholic. They both gave the same reason of why one is successful and why one's alcoholic. They both said, the reason I'm successful, the reason I'm alcoholic is because my father was an alcoholic. So it's the same thing. You go to school now. You go to school and things happen in school. I've got two sons, twin boys. Matthew, Ethan, same class, same school, same thing. I can see how my one son responds to things and my other son responds to things. Distinct difference. Matthew did a little hairstyle the other day. A little two hairstyle. So some kids at the school called and they laughed at each other. And I called him and Ethan, who they weren't even talking to, said to him, they were laughing at your hairstyle. Matthew was like, no, they weren't. Same situation. One didn't care that they were laughing at him. He was fine. He's confident in himself. He's becoming industrious himself. Where Ethan is starting to form some form of rejection. But see, as a father now, I can see that and I can work with it. If I get him to change the way he sees things, it's okay. I was teased a lot in primary school. It's okay. See, it wasn't okay for me. Like it's not okay for Ethan. See? But it's okay with Matthew. Matthew handles it. He's okay. All good, Dad. Not a problem. Ethan, Dad. Yeah, Papa. No, that's what he does. Matthew's sweet. Ethan, no. Same situation, same father. When he experiences fear, including doubt, concern, apprehension, anxiety, he denies it or considers it put down. What do? Alcohol, drugs. We suppress it. Sometimes we've been in dysfunctional relationships because you're too afraid to go. Okay? Have you noticed that thing? We've all been in love more than once, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay? And then something goes wrong with the relationship. And there's a part of you that believes you'll never find anybody ever again. Isn't it? Yeah. Never. And what do? You find someone again. But guess what? The same thing happens again because you're still in that relationship for the wrong reasons. You're too afraid to let go of it. How many of us have been in a relationship and there's been a moment in that relationship where you've looked at that person, and it's not because there's anything wrong with the person, but the way you process being with that person is incorrect for you. And you go like, we shouldn't actually be together. But it's a split second. It's like it's just a soft thing. And you leave it alone, and then the relationship becomes a huge. Okay? The reason we don't want to let it go is because we're afraid we won't get something better. We're afraid of being alone. We're afraid of all these things. And not realizing if we overcome that fear and we let go of what we need to let go of, the right thing will come along. Because if you cannot let go of something, you'll never be the right person yourself. You must let go. All of us sitting here today, we're holding on to things, man. I don't realize the things we're holding on to is destroying us. And yes, some of the things we're holding on to, it hurts us. It really, really hurts us. Look at the thing. Process the thing. Let go of the thing. And when you go out there, when you go back into society, and do your thing, make sure you're aware of yourself and how you're responding to your environment. The first time I went back to Velcom, because we went 5 years in Velcom, working in Velcom. And the first time I went back to Velcom to do something, I could immediately feel that. I could feel it immediately. Set memories of where I used to meet the guys like before, and the whole system came out completely paranoid, right? Whole drive and stop drive, and then you got this turn and then the right turn, and you get there, you do. Some guys might understand me, other guys won't understand me. Guys that understand me, you know where I'm at. You know, get into the whole system with your driving. Remember picking up, coming back, timing with the gate. You think someone's following you at the back. Go fast. Oh, come on. I knew exactly where the gate would start opening. Lights off. Now, the same as the system I created in my head. So the first one I went back to Velcom, those systems were there. So I had on purpose to sign against that system. The system's there. You know, even years later, there's moments where I get paranoid. My own fault for putting all this stuff on it. Now sometimes I get paranoid. Other people for what? The person not answering my call because I did something wrong. You know what I mean? Really, yes, I'm a teacher here. But see, I can look at it and I can admit it. And because I can look at it and admit it, I respond differently. I respond differently to it. So I do things that help me grow as a person. Instead of doing something that, because what happens normally when it happens to us, we use that thing starts destroying us. Okay? Then we say the wrong things and we behave the wrong way. And then guess what? After we feel bad for the way we behave. Oh, damn, I was wrong. Remember, let's understand something. That when you're courageous, it's not the absence of fear. I'm sure you've heard it before. It's not the absence of fear. We think for us to be courageous is we no fear whatsoever. That's not the truth.
Fear, you can't be courageous.
No, then there's no such thing as courage, because this is normal. And courage isn't something you feel. Courage is something you do. Don't feel courageous. I feel courageous today. You're in a situation like today, I'm going to handle it. And then it comes your way, you're like, don't handle it. Because you expected that feeling of now, I'm going to make it happen and do it happen, and when you go out there, you're going to feel that way then as well. So when you leave here, smooth sailing, I'm going to do this, I'm going to start company, I'm going to do this and that. When you leave, the feelings don't line up with what you want to do. And you, instead of going, what I do counts more than what I'm feeling right now. Instead of doing that, you go, what I feel more counts more for than what I want to do. And remember, fear is temporary. You're in a bad place when you feel fear all the time. That can happen, because what happens is you feed the fear and feed the fear and feed the fear. I'm sure you see some people that come through the ranks here, they're afraid all the time, they're paranoid all the time, and they've been clean for months, but they still, because that feeling comes back and they feed that feeling instead of going, sure, it's not the truth, man. If you think I don't know what I'm talking about, I went through a phase in my life where I was afraid of death. So you heard the story, I was afraid of death. I always thought I was going to die. For about 6 months to a year, I thought I was going to die. And so much so I had panic attacks, so bad my hands would fold in. Almost having a stroke. I'll tell you how it left me. The day I became a believer, it still came my way. It didn't disappear. But I said, if I die today, I'll go to heaven. And then it left. I got so bad, my girlfriend shut, Ralph, just stand still. I walk around the pool. Got so afraid of things I wouldn't drink coffee my mother made me. Because what she did, she said anti-booze into my porridge. So I didn't trust her. I remember I went to the video store. Last time you might remember what a video store is. I think it's a video store. You want to know what a video store is? Anybody know what a video store is? Anybody know? I don't have to tell anybody. Anybody? All know. You need to know. It's like a VHS CD. It's like not CDs. Good roll. Cassettes, tapes. I also got some others lying around. Cassettes and VHS mobiles lying around in different places. Myself and Gavin, and I remember we drank some comfort or something. And I was walking back, I thought, my face is warm, man. My ears are getting red. I said, Davey, my face is going red all over, yeah. She says, yeah, all right. Oh, I can feel I'm not feeling well. So I won't tell you what I said, obviously I swore. I said, and I ran home, and you know those phones? Yeah. I phoned my mother, I said, Mom, she did. So, with the paranoia, with the fear of death, and I didn't trust anything she made for me. No porridge. No, I love the food, don't worry. So I'm better now. I went to the face, no. Come over for supper, Ralph. No, thank you. So let me read the scripture, just encourage you. And remember, something? For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. No translation is self-discipline. That's a key word there. Spirit of self-discipline. Understand something? When you're a believer, there can be fear, but it never becomes a spirit of fear. See, when you operate in the spirit of something, it influences your life. If it's there, it doesn't have to influence your life. It doesn't have to. That's when they say everything is a choice. That's where the choice comes in. You choose today if the way you feel about things will influence your life, or you're going to be responsible. You choose it today. You choose to have a spirit of fear. But you don't have one. You don't have to have one. It says here you have a spirit of power. Power. So if you've got that mindset, you get in the ring or you get in a situation, if you're fearful, and you remind yourself, whoa, this is not the truth. The truth is I'm the spirit of power. And I can operate in the spirit of power. I can operate in the spirit of self-discipline. You choose that today. Corrective. Use fear constructively. Recognize its value as a guide to reconsider plans. I really believe when you feel something, doesn't mean you must make a decision based on the way you feel. I believe it's telling you you're about to go through something. You're about to process something. And a lot of times we resist that feeling. We want to escape that feeling. We downgrade ourselves as human beings. Right. Some of the guys do boxing, some of you guys like MMA, etc., etc. Let me tell you something, I don't care how good you are when you get in the ring for the first time. Doesn't matter how good you are. You got that feeling. And let me tell you, it never ever disappears. You just learn how to process it better. You get that excitement. And what happens in your mind, instead of seeing it as an enemy, your mind's just telling you you're about to get into a situation where you must be sharp. Understand something, when fear comes and adrenaline comes, it sharpens you up. It's actually getting you ready for that fight. It's getting you ready for that situation. What we do, we use it to get away from the situation. Instead of facing that thing will come again and again and again and again and again until you finally stand still and say, okay, let's do this. Remember the Israelites? 12 spies. 10 came back and said, we look like grasshoppers in their side. That's the way they saw themselves, not the way they saw them. Caleb and Joshua said, let's go do it, man. Hey, not a start. Caleb and Joshua were how old by the time they went in? 80? They still went in there as warriors. 80. Man, I don't feel half of that, or a bit more than half of that. I don't feel like the promise in my body tells me no ways. Relax here, breathe. Sit on the couch. Recognize its value. Go check out fears with others. Examine if a fear needs to be faced and overcome, or it's irrational and needs to be heeded. For example, if it's a dangerous area and you have a bit of fear, don't go there. It's a dangerous area. What do you want to do there? How many times we put ourselves in dangerous situations? We've been in situations, put ourselves in situations. But because we're so high, we didn't get there. But if we were sober, we'd never be there. So that's what they're saying there. Abstain from drugs and alcohol. Recognize that fear and failure keeps one on one's toes to make a good effort. The Bible says a righteous man falls 7, stands up 8. Kia, a righteous man can still fall. A righteous man can still miss it. But he stands up. There's a decision to make. When you're down, you either stand up and continue being the righteous man and learn from your mistake, or you stay down and you become a fool. Of course, you're a fool if you stay down. So those ones that feel down and out, you can choose. You might feel like a fool because you're staying down. But if you stand up, you immediately become that righteous man. Develop empathy for fear in others. Recognize doubt, concern, apprehension, anxiety as helpful and normal. When I was a kid, I was afraid of the dark for a while. The worst nightmare I had, and I still remember it, was Indiana Jones. All the snakes on the floor, and I woke up in the nightmare, all the snakes on the floor in my room. My father was still around at that time, since I was about 6 or 7. My son also had never fear of the dark. Or one son. Guess which one? Not Ethan. Not Ethan. The one that's okay with things. Him. And I get agitated with him. But getting agitated with him won't fix it. I must help him process it. Spiritual application. Fear is a negative emotion, but even so-called negative emotions serve as positive functions in our lives. There is such a thing as healthy fear. Reality-based fear is perfectly normal. For example, you get in the ring and you know this guy can give you a bit of a run for your money. It's normal. Normal. Not a nice feeling, but it's normal. Fear is a natural protective response to danger. Out of concern for safety, God created us with the capacity to be afraid. I remember a friend of mine, our street days, Graham, became quite a very rough guy. But I remember we used to hang out and it was all about smoking weed and he started getting into more fights more often than not. So much so that you almost like don't want to be around him. That's and then one day we ended up together again, and I remember seeing him win fights, and I remember seeing him lose a fight the one day, and I remember seeing him win another fight the one day, and he sat there and he was smoking with me, and he said to me, Ralph, you know what I realized? The more you fight, the better you get. Other guys would get beaten and never fight. But he understood the more you fight. And years later, I remember going to the electric workshop. And then I was very thin, long hair. And I was walking out the door, and I felt a shove in my back. And I turned around, and it was just like, stocky guy, man. Shaved head. Didn't reckon he walks up to me like this, does a thing. I was like, come on, acid as well. So I'm looking at this guy, man. He goes, Ralph, you don't remember me, do you? I look, I was to clear my eyes. Graham! Then he was working for Diplomat in it. Grand Dietrich's. Understand? So you learned, he understood that. Even in his dysfunction, he understood the more he did something, the better he get at it. So despite the way he felt about the loss, or despite the way he felt about that hard shot against your head, or whatever it is, you learn from it. But what we do, we feel that, we go, oh, no, never again. That's what happens to us sometimes. No, never again. Guess when we're high drunk, because wild as anything. But when we stone cold sober, if someone gives you a... No, I'm fine, thank you.
So we can spar this week.
You want to spar me? Chris, apparently you don't have to box for a while. It's a rumor, I guess.
Really?
Yeah. A phobia is an irrational fear that is focused. Weren't you committing recently?
Yeah, no. The town trips.
Barely they want to take a break there as well. So I'm taking on class days. God created us with the capacity to be afraid. However, when our fears become too extreme, they can then take the form of emotional problems called phobias. Right? You must see my, I hope you haven't watched this, you must see my one with spiders and stuff. So guess what my son would do? Okay? And so afraid of them that even if it's a plastic thing, jumps. So by the time my boys don't do that. But sometimes I laugh as well. A phobia is an irrational fear that is focused on a specific kind of situation, object, or activity. Phobias are beyond logic and beyond voluntary control. Look here, a snake and a spider, I'm wary of them. I'm not terrified. So they're not out the door when they're still down there. That's because of phobia, it's an irrational fear. And it's difficult to overcome this. My grandfather was a big thing for spiders. Huge, like terrified. Also the plastic things, right on him and jump out of the chair. But he had an affinity for watching movies that scared him. See, I remember there was a movie that came out, Arachnophobia. It was about spiders. He wanted to watch that movie. So despite him being afraid of spiders, he wanted to watch it. You see in that chair, I'll never forget the way he carried on in the chair. But he wanted to watch it. In Philippians 4:8-9, we are given a list of positive spiritual values on which to focus our attention. Truth. It says in Philippians 4:8, it says, focus on these things. Focus on these things. Truth, honesty, fairness, purity, beauty, good report, virtue, and praise. End product of our thinking on these things is enjoying the peace of God. If you are full of fear and phobia, it means you look at what you're thinking about. Look at what you're looking at the whole time. A person that's very depressed, if you ever feel depressed one day, if you're able to get yourself to ask yourself a question, ask yourself what you're thankful for. When you're depressed and down, you're thankful for nothing. You won't get one thing you're thankful for. Because when you start thanking for what you have, that depression will start leaving you. Because a lot of times the person is feeling down and out, you don't feel there's a way forward, you've messed up so badly, you're full of shame, it's all these things. And what we do, instead of trying to process that thing, what we do is we try and feel that thing. You cannot feel something negative like resentment, anger, and bitterness. They're not things that build. They're not things that build, they're things that destroy. Despite when you see things or feel about things, never, ever, ever. Hatred, anger, dislike. Seeing things wrong with everything all the time. It's never, ever. No one's ever built an empire on that. They build empires on values and what they believe. What's good and right. That's what they build it on. An empire that starts doing that starts imploding on itself. Understand something, you have your own garden to look after. Ask something now, if you are building a if you were doing a garden, some of you are busy with planting, etc. How many of you go and take blackjacks and plant blackjack? How many of you guys take weeds? How many of you take weeds? Oh, this is pretty. Let me tell you something, resentment, anger, all these things that cause negative things in our lives. If you want to allow weeds in your garden, why don't you allow those weeds in your garden? Why do you lie? You make excuses. It's okay to be resentful because the guy may be angry. Hello? You couldn't put it in a real garden and you can't put it in your garden despite how angry the guy made you. You cannot do it. And let me tell you something now. You must look at what you focus on, because when you get weeds anywhere, there's no one that walks around planting weeds anywhere. They just appear. They just appear. So if there's resentment coming out, understand it's there because you haven't taken care of your garden. Bitterness is there because anger. It's there because you, not the person that you think caused it, you allowed the thing to start growing in your garden. Because as soon as you start coming up, you could have done it. We decide to look after it and nurture it. Then we use substances to help us bear the weight more instead of putting the thing out. There's many of us sitting at resentment. Resentment is one of the biggest reasons why we relapse. But I'm not resentful. Okay, then why are you destroying your life again? If you're not resentful, why do you destroy yourself? It makes no sense. No, it's not that. It's not that it's causing a problem now. Okay, then why are you destroying yourself? Why are you making decisions that destroys you? See, not your intention, or action. Another exciting section of scripture that will help us deliver from the focus, Ephesians 5:18-21, which says, "And be not drunk with wine when the excess, but be filled with the Spirit, speaking to yourself in psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs." Good self-talk. Good self-talk. You know, this is difficult. We can do it. Huh? Good self-talk. Giving thanks always for all things unto God and the Father, and the same of our Lord Jesus Christ. Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. Here is a complete antidote for fear of failure. Guys, start doing something new, man. When you get up in the morning, start saying thank you. Start saying thank you. Talk to yourself. Thank you for this, thank you for this, thank you for that. Gratitude. Yes, attitude of gratitude. Yeah. Don't get drunk, not under the control of alcohol. Be filled with the Holy Spirit under God's control. Speak to yourself. Now that sounds strange. This is God's therapy program, divine viewpoint. We'll call this self-talk. You'll quote psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs to yourself out loud. Sing to yourself anytime you sense this fear coming on, and you do not do it in your heart unto the Lord. Direct music to Him. Give thanks. Have a grateful heart and spirit. Do a mental inventory of what you have, and express gratitude for all of it. Submit to someone. That old accountability, essential person factors show up again. Talk to your essential person or group about the fact. Let me tell you something. People are talking backwards. Ask them the question, who they accountable for. Who's their pastor? Who they're going to speak to. You'll find 99% of the time there's no one. There's no one. And if there was someone that was drawn from that person. There's God's 6-step program for the fear of fear. Remember something as well, don't get involved with a battle that's really been won. A lot of the battles we fight have already been won. We don't have to fight the battles. We sometimes fight the wrong battle. And one of my guys, a big thing that came up with us, I just said for the rest of your life, you've been fighting the wrong fights. If you fight the enemy, that's what anyone wants to do to every one of us. Once we're so distracted, we fight the wrong fight. We fight the wrong fight with the wrong people. And then that people aren't the people you're supposed to be fighting with. People are not the people you're supposed to be fighting with. You waste your energy, so you actually need that energy. Fighting inside out. Okay. So now you close your eyes. Father God, I want to thank you for this opportunity you gave us today. I want to thank you, Lord, that we can on purpose start thinking the correct way and fighting the great fight. In Jesus' name.